Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name's Pennisi. You know what one bit about me. I was born on the 28th of January 1919. And in a little town sitting down Maudsley between Innisfail and Tully, if you know the place. And lost my mother when I was 9 years old, and we came to Tully. I've been in Tully ever since 1929-30. The only time I ever been in Tully was 4 years in the army. I have a wife, deceased. I have 3 boys and a daughter. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about what happened in the Horseshoe Lagoon UFO, Tully, 1966. It was on 19th of January, Monday morning. I was going to the beach to do a bit of renovation of a beach house. There was a very heavy fog, and the dog went mad outside. Oh, I said, the dingoes are back again. Now it kept going right down the headland. Now I had to give it away because I had to go to the beach. And I came back at 4 o'clock. The friend of mine that used to go through my property, had a banana property alongside of me. He was sitting on the steps. I said, "Hello, George, how are you?" Oh, he said, "Not bad," but he said, "Don't laugh." I said, "Why?" "Well, don't laugh." He said, "I want to tell you something. Now, don't laugh. A flying saucer landed in your lagoon." I said, "Where did it?" Yeah, he said, I was going along the headland, and all of a sudden near the lagoon, and a big hissing noise. I said, "Hello." My back tire got on the tractor. It kept hissing, and he looked up and he saw this spaceship about 15 metres up above, going toward the tree, turned on its side and disappeared like that. He said, I thought it was a dream. He came up toward the lagoon and the water was swirling. He looked at the water. "Oh, I'll go over and have a cup of tea." They went back to his camp, had a cup of tea and came back, and that's when he saw the pontoon came up. Put the cartoon on, yes. That's me looking at the wood. Okay, yeah. Well, there's some of the advice that I spotted during the time when I was looking at the F-night on the flying saucers. Yes, next one. And that's the nest that came up after he came back. It's clockwise and 10 metres in diameter and 5 feet of water. So anyway, we started talking about it, and we went back home. And George went home and he said, "I'm not coming down here anymore." He said, I'm really frightened now, he said. No, I said, all right. So I thought to myself, well, I'm going to give the local priest a call. Father Walsh, yes, hello, look here. I said, what are you doing this afternoon? He said, you can still do that at 4:30. No, nothing at all. I said, why don't I come around to my place? I want to show you something and have tea with us. Oh, yes, he said, I've got nothing on. So, okay, he came round, I took him down to the lagoon on the back of the ute, and I said, sit down, have a look at that. Oh. I said, flying saucer. He's flying saucer. Well, I said, the man saw it take up, and I said, what do you make of it? He wouldn't say anything, he left it at that. Okay. That's some more. George pointed to how the spaceship took up 15 meters above the trees, and then there's a shot away. We say class had thought it was a dream. Okay. Now, these photos were taken about 3 days after, because and I have to tell you that when the news got out that this UFO landed in my place, and they were coming from the left and right, I would say 1,000 cars for the day, no trouble at all. No, can I go up, can go through your property, have a look at it, nothing, but since you come past my place and said, hey, what have you been going like this again? You could run with something. And anyway, there were the genuine fellows that used to come and ask, and when they asked more questions about what really happened. Now, the police got on it and they cordoned it off, so that nobody could go into the lagoon or out of the lagoon. And it was very important, and they had it cordoned off for 2 days. And in fact, I did know that after they had the federal police checking on me, see if I knew something about this. I said, and I said to the sergeant, I know nothing about it. I said, just George saw the flying saucer leave up and the sky and disappeared. I said, there's the mountain there. And we just sort of left it like that. But after this happened, I sort of had to stop it, because you know what the human beings are like. They come along, beer bottles, tin cans, packets of rubbish, and heap rubbish all over the place. Okay, Adrian? These pictures were taken by the Sydney Morning Herald after would go back into the lagoon and I've had a few photos of me now. I went underneath that circle, and as bare as that there, at that floor, and 30 feet diameter, about the depth of the grass. I will show you afterwards that the grass was growing and they're between 7 and 8 feet long. And the massive grass was flat walking into it. Now this grass here beside here, that's swordgrass, and that swordgrass was very, very withstanding, because it touches just like a sword, a razor. And I swam underneath, but it was very dangerous, because if I didn't know how to get back, I'd get stuck in there and I couldn't get out. But it was very light down there, so a machine that made that must have had some power. With everything, and that is clockwise. All the big circle is clockwise. Now, the next couple of days, we're going to show Adrian. That's some showing George. That's the side of the reed of the lagoon. But in between that, the people coming there, they were saying that circle could have been done by string bulls, Birds, alligators mating, but and the helicopter upside down. Well, you think about it. That was made by you or someone else. No, I said, it's been made by me. That's the dog that mad down the headland. Now, I wanted to go down there, but I had no time to go down. And that's what George and I were talking about what really happened down the lagoon. Okay, Adrian? Now, there were the smaller nests, and they were anti-clockwise. The big ones were clockwise. They were at 3.5 meters wide. They're between 9.5 and 10 feet. From 9.5 to 10 feet. Identical underneath, all ripped away. And all told, of all the sightings were down there were 22 markings of the smaller ones. Okay. There was some more of the big machine. People were very interested in it. And just when I met Stan City, he rang up to the holidays and his wife, did he come to my place? I said, yes, come. And in fact, they kept there for a couple of days. And investigation, samples of water taken from the nest and reeds from the nest, and around the other side of the lagoon, samples of water and reeds marked to go down to the botanist when he goes back to Brisbane, say the botanist. And the botanist, he rang me up and said he didn't know how that there's no disease in the grass, and he doesn't know how it was, the way it was. After 3 days, it turned out the colour of a corn cob, nice and yellow. And some of the reeds that he'd taken were still growing bits of shoots. All right, go back to the smaller list again. And Stan said to me that, Albert, he said, if there's another landing, he said, will you give me a call? All right, how far are we going, Adrian? Well, that's the Women's Day reporter. She was down there. That's Mars Street, the third woman on Mars. Then just showed my wife and daughter the way the markings were when the two of them came one on top of the other. In fact, I asked George when he saw this machine, he took off, he said, I can't tell you much about it, Albert, but he said it was a silvery grey. He said, I think it could have been between 7 and 9 feet in height. He said it happened that fast that I thought it was a dream. He said he couldn't make out what it was. There's a reporter there. He came out one night and had a look, look at the stars and said, one might come back again. Have a cup of tea there and talk or something like that. This is talking to us, asking us questions about what really happened. This downstairs with my 3-year boy when they were young was brother-in-law mine had a plane, so we got him up on the plane to go around, all around the lagoon and all around the countryside to see what he thought of it. In fact, we might find some more markings somewhere, because between where my place was and back to Lily Card was all jungle. It's all stumps and swamps all the way down back about 40 kilometres. Where are we down this one here? The horseshoe, That's not what the machine is. Okay. Now, as Stan said that there another marking come down, will you please ring me up? He said, I said, like in the university I started, he was getting ready, and I rang him up and I said, Stan Albert here. I said, your friends are back again, and I would like to talk to you. Oh, okay. He said, I'll ring you back if I get a plane. And he did. Well, I picked him up here, so back. He said, I said, on the way up. In the time that I was talking to him, that he made this monitor. That monitor, and the movie camera up there, a friend of mine had, and that the battery was hooked up. But that's on the table home to show what I had. But back in the lagoon, I had it hidden and made probably that it was facing across whatever was shooting through. Anyway, he came up at the first landing. He came up and said, gee, I wish I could have see another one before I go back. Well, he was just unlucky because a week after it came, it must have been the same ship came and just about landed in the same place. And the rainy season was starting, and I said, well, I'll have to go down and get that movie camera. But I didn't know that second landing was there. And when I got down, I saw the landing, but that monitor had triggered off the camera. Something's happened. So it was raining. I had where the floods were coming up, and took the camera back, took it back to the friend of mine that had it, and he sent the film down to Kodak to the colour film, he couldn't process it, damn it. Yeah, and then about 3 weeks after, he came back to me and said, well, here's the container, just open it up and have a look inside, see what's inside. Inside the container is about, this is how we received your container. Empty. That's the look, nothing. Nothing. Stan here has folded it up. I think he had an idea that it was taken by ACL or something that wasn't taken. So I don't know what was on that film. And that's 14 years ago. Let's look at 87 or not. Okay. Then look at the 69, 72, none of them yet, eh? Now, that's the 87. That would be the last marking that came there. Now, I kept it very quiet after the 1966. You just had to keep it quiet because if anything happened that you want to investigate, or you couldn't because the people that come here was doing everything. So there was the bathroom came, the 66 was the first one, 69 the second, 72 third, 75 the next one, 80. I've got 87. Okay. But they were kept quiet, and now when you order anything about it, anything important, I would have found it out. And I saw the films with the smaller ones. That's the 72 marks. And the bigger one and the smaller ones. Now, just media one again. And that's the doors again. There's something about doors again. That's 75. Now, there's a farmer ahead of me back that way, and my lagoon and George lagoon. The markings was on Charlie Murray's lagoon. There's a my lagoon and that lagoon. It'd be about 3 kilometres in distance with each other. It was all in a straight line. But we have the map and we could mark it. We just wondering why that happened all in a straight line. That's towards the middle. But the smaller one, they're anti-clockwise. You can see it goes anti-clockwise. And the doesn't stand wide. I've got the machine clockwise and anti-clockwise. They go into the mothership somehow. Yes, like 5 feet of water. Yeah, okay. Well, we're back in the 66. Okay. Now, are they real flying saucers? What would you people think about it?
I don't think there's too many unbelievers in this hall, Albert. I think most people here think they are real.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because the markings there. That's another one. That's people look at that. Okay. Now, talk about the lights. The first spotting light of the flying saucer, and well, I didn't know what it was in the distance. It was a beautiful light spinning like searchlight, but it was much prettier than a rainbow. Moving around like that, and from my place down to Hinchbrook Island would be about, they say, 30 kilometres away. I don't know how far the machine was away, but I said to myself, there's no lighthouse in Hinchbrook Island, and that's opposite the little towns of the Covenant. No. The Air Force had a spotting centre there during the war of any planes, Japanese planes coming through, or any warships coming through. The towns were below. Towns were the front line of during the war. And the stars was beautiful light, but it went out. I said, lost it. I called Amy and White, but she came out too late to have a look at it. And all of a sudden, I looked at 3 degrees, were about, say, about 20, and that just about 20 kilometres away, and just went choop, choop, straight over there. Pulsated across. It didn't go like a balloon just going across, but it just pulsated across, choop, like that. And that was happening on 4 different occasions. About 12 months after the first landing, a couple of chappies I knew, they said, we didn't want to sailing, Albert, because we didn't like to sailing about what we saw. But we were out on the hull, on the wharf of the hull fishing. Of course, we had some beer. We went to have beer. And one of them, this light came from the east, from the ocean, came straight to the wharf where they were. They saw it coming and they both jumped into the water. And they sort of stopped in front of them, went on back and disappeared again. They said, we can't tell anybody anything, we can do it, they can pay. They reckon we were You make it up. But I believe him. And there was another chap who lived about 2 years after, said, he'd been in town drinking till about 10 o'clock, the pub's closed, right home. He said, yeah, he was going home, had to go around the mountainside, the rough road, because he wanted to go on the main road because the police would be there to pick him up. So he's driving along, and all of a sudden there's light in front of the car, just above the car. Well, he got used to it, he turned around and went back this other way. Messing the light was in front of that way. Oh, he really got a fright, he said. He said, I got a fright. I turned around and as fast as I can back home. And when he got home, he was puffing. He said, what? He said, I don't know. He said, I think there's a flying saucer in front of me. So these things have been kept quiet. A lot of things kept quiet. People don't say anything because they reckon you're a bit battered or drinking or something like that. I was drinking too. I don't drink. Now, this like I said, changed my life quite a bit because I wasn't interested in the beginning of it. I used to buy the cartoons comics when I was going to school at Flash Gordon, and that's back in the 1928s and 30s, Flash Gordon. And they were just spaceships that we shown today. And that sort of changed my life because I used to go down. Not when they landed, and see the marking of 66 or 72 or 75, there come a certain time between January and before the end of March. That's the wet season. Why? I don't know. But after you can forget about going to the lagoon or watching the lagoon, but I used to watch the lagoon day after day after day because it wasn't very far from home, only half a mile, a bit further than half a mile down. And I got interested in to know, well, they're coming there. Why do they want to contact me, or why are they coming every 3 years in the same spot? Why?
Do you have any theories why, George? Do you have any theories as to why they came back year after year?
Well, no. I had a feeling that someday something would happen. And what's interesting to know, and to be there and see what's happening, I'm still hoping today before I leave this earth what they really are, where they come from, who are they, or what they're doing. But why at my place after all those years?
Sorry, I called you George, I meant Albert. The other theory I have is that maybe if the big ones are caused by crocodiles mating, the small ones could be gay crocodiles going down the road. Does anybody have any questions for Albert?
A few comments I should make. I remember Stan Sears saying that the film was weighted to the presence of witnesses in the Tully post office, and when they got the thing back, the stamps were for the weight of a full container with the film. The stamps did not agree with the weight of an empty container. It was 6 years later when I got to Tully, and due to unexpected circumstances, I had to spend a few days with a man at Tully, and it turned out that he knew a young woman on a nearby property to Albert Pennisi who saw the saucer go overhead. Now, UFO groups, it's often important to have two independent witnesses. And so for 6 years we'd only had that one witness, but 6 years later I found there was a second independent witness, and it all looks quite genuine. He assured me the woman was genuine, but she wants to remain anonymous. So I didn't get to meet her, but that we have got 2 independent witnesses. And other Pennisi's son took me down and he pointed to the branch on the tree overhanging the lagoon, and he said that branch has only just grown back 6 years after it happened. It was years later when I went to Wollongong with Cole Phillips and another man who was a cameraman for Channel 9, and he saw a UFO once, and the police came and knocked on his door and told him to keep quiet about it. But at Wollongong there was a circle of, it's on the New South Wales coast, there was a circle of grass, and the grass, we were there 5 minutes later, 5 months later, and the way the grass was just not growing 5 months later left me thinking, if we knew how to do this, we'd never need to mow the lawn. And when I compare that with the branch of Tully that wouldn't grow back for 6 years, it gives the impression that there's something about the ionisation, the force field of the craft that not only kills everything, but it destroys it so completely that it can't grow for years afterwards. And that's one of the distinctions between them and crop circles. About 1974, I saw my first crop circles. And I guess the crop circles here about 20 miles northeast of here near Sandgate. And none of us had heard of crop circles, but I could tell they weren't flying saucer landing sites because they were just so different. Just think of them just... Yeah, a lot of people and some researchers seem to be interested in what's wrong with the brain of the person who looks at these things, like was it on alcohol or whiskey or whatever. And when I visited Albert Pennisi, one thing I noticed was the sugar he put in his tea was a sugar they get, some people can get direct, and the farmers get direct from the mill. It hasn't got the nutrition removed from it. So he was feeding his brain nutrition, and everyone else uses white sugar that's got the nutrition for their brain removed from it. And later, it was years later before I saw what looks like a probable pattern, I saw it was Alex Devro on the granite belt near Stanthorpe had a sighting, and when I visited him, I discovered he was an organic farmer. He was very careful not to poison brains. And with Frank Howard's brother's property, about 110 kilometres west of here, there were landings on his property. And we eventually found he was an aerial ambulance man who'd gone to extraordinary lengths to save the first person who was ever saved from a taipan snake bite. And there's this pattern of, it's not what's wrong with their brains, there's something about their brains that's right with their brains and working better than other people's brains that makes that difference. But it's something that the average psychiatrist is trained not to recognise, and they're not taught about this sort of thing. And there's few people are waking up or seeing what's really going on, that there's something that's right with their brains that's the real issue, and it's not something that's wrong with their brains, with a few very rare exceptions. And one researcher told me that there was a question asked in British Parliament about what so many British scientists were doing in the jungle of North Queensland. And the answer was it was a germ warfare research station at Tully. It was one of 3 in the world. There was one at England, which I guess is Portland down, I don't know, and I think one in South America. And there seems to be a pattern of UFOs watching, firstly, everything that can destroy most life on the planet, and also watching what can save life on the planet. And just as they watch the nuclear incidents, they could be watching germ warfare for the same reasons as they watch nuclear incidents. It's something that can cause a massive loss of life on the planet. But whether they're actually watching that germ warfare research station at Tully or not, I don't really know.
Okay, sorry to cut in there, but we've really got questions for Albert now. I'll start at the back and come forward, so make sure you put your hands up.
Hello, thanks Albert, wonderful talk. My name's Lorraine. I'm just a bit interested about, you mentioned a Catholic priest had a look at Ness, and he didn't say anything more. Did that change?
Just excuse us for a second. My father's very hard at hearing, so I'll have to explain to you what the question was.
Albert, I'll just run the question through the mic. You mentioned a priest. Can you hear me, Albert? Can you hear me? You mentioned a priest.
It's all muffled to me, see?
Oh, you mentioned a priest.
Yeah.
That priest came out and had a look.
Yeah.
Was there any other comment made by that
No.
priest?
No.
Never said anything else?
You've never seen him except quiet. No. But he's a Monsignor now. But I had a few books given to me from Stern Sears to round out. And one of those books ended up at the Cathedral of Kings.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now we've got another question right up the back. I might lose some weight doing this.
With the sources landing in the swamp, and there have been other cases in the world, like especially in case in Canada, where they were landing on the dams, and what they were doing, they were refuelling. Like we put petrol in the cars, they seem to be run on water. There's someone said they water break into hydrogen. And there's been cases in America, so obviously while they maybe were keeping an eye on the German Warfare Centre up that way, they were coming back and refuelling their craft in the swamps.
Does Albert believe they were taking water?
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't understand about that. But round the circles, round any of the small water insects were all dead. And that would be caused, and I reckon it would be caused by the heat of the machine would have boiled the water. And we're going back to 1969, and I did a bit of inspection around the lagoon, and the branch were knocked off about 8 feet in length of a sort of a cork with a soft wood, and all along the side of the trees was scorched. And there's nowhere in the world any fire would be there in January and February because the wet season's there. Saying that in '69 when I got up in the morning, about 2 o'clock in the morning, to have a look what was outside. It was a beautiful morning. And straight down the lagoon was a big light. We took it was a bushfire, but none of those such things in a bushfire. And I looked at it and I said, no, I can't go down because newspapers coming up visitors and duck eggs. That's when I go down in the morning, and that's when I found the first sighting down there. So there's a big bright light down there.
Okay.
Right into the microphone.
Can you hear me now? Thank you, Albert. I've followed very carefully everything that you've said over the years and I've read it all. And I've never stopped being interested in this topic. Your contribution has really been one not to UFO Research Queensland, but to UFO research worldwide. It's one of the best sightings. However, there's always been in my mind one small mystery, and that is, why did those aquatic plants die so quickly? If you pull aquatic plants up out of the ground, out of the water, and leave them floating on the surface, they'll float there for months before they discolour. Yet these ones discoloured quickly. The answer, I think, may have come from an article I read not so long ago. An incident in England, a UFO was also on a lagoon, and when the guys came back after the UFO had left, it was covered in ice. Ice would kill off plants very quickly, so maybe it was the cooling effect from the UFO, not the heating, that could have done that. It's just a thought. It certainly would explain a lot of things. As for why they keep coming back, well, either you do have very clean water and they did want some, but more than likely, the World Health Organization issued a statement after the event, of course, that milk in Queensland was unfit for human consumption for many years on account of the atomic tests in the Pacific. So maybe the UFOs were out there taking regular samples, and yours was a nice landing spot, nice and quiet, with no guns or nasties. So who knows? Thank you.
What do you think about that theory, Albert?
I would say that anyone would like to get some questions answered face to face, I'll be able to answer them. And it's all muffled to me because I've got a big accident on my head with a lump of wood.
Recently, someone has said that these circles were formed in England, in water, with reeds, but it was covered in ice. And it was the ice that killed the aquatic plants really quickly. Because normally when you pull a plant like that out of the water and just let it float, it doesn't discolour straight away. But the theory is that maybe it was ice. Anyway, there's an interesting one. They're not aquatic plants, they're normal grasses that get flooded. Yes, right. So it's the grasses are natural grasses. The lagoon fills up, then it dries out, and they just stay there whether there's water there or not. Which is an interesting point. Something to hear.
Yeah. You mentioned federal police. Today we know that federal police already knew in the 40s everything about UFOs. My question, can he recall what kind of questions the federal police asked him?
They never saw me, they never spoke to me. The police sergeant that I knew in town was telling me that two of them had an eye on me for 2 days. Now, where they were hiding or where they were looking, I don't know, because inside the scrub, mosquitoes are chasing for a start. The only one that see me go to work all morning and come back at night and then in the fields. So, they might as well come and have a yarn with us. Have a cup of tea or something, start talking about something. But they thought I might have known something. I don't know. It's a mystery. Everything's a mystery down there. After all those sightings, you'd wonder, go down our different moonlights because you couldn't go at night because there are taipans and things like that. But I've been bit by a taipan. And go and stay there for hours and hours, so something like that. That's when the smaller circles is landed, 22 of them.
Another question. Just one other I was just saying that back in 1966, our property was a carving into a rainforest. There was about 10,000 acres of rainforest and swampland behind us. So
they opened up for pain, but now it's all been opened up for expansion.
So the only way in was past our house.
No chance of going through it. Not a machine like that. No chance. They had to fly in.
Yeah, I just want to personally thank Albert for really giving a great presentation on this, because this Tully experience is really of worldwide importance to the UFO subject, and just something that's really fascinated me over the years that I've spoken to Albert a bit about it in the past is, maybe you might like to comment about it, was this business of having a dream about something happening or a flying saucer landing on the property before it actually happened.
Yeah. But before the, I don't know how to say anything, because before the 66 one landed, but George saw, about 3 or 4 days before, I was cultivating just not very far. It would be the distance twice the distance of this unit, maybe 3. And I pulled up halfway down the paddock and I said to myself, what entered my mind was UFOs, flying saucers. I said, now if a flying saucer landed there and it took me, how would I let my family know? So the only way I saw the flight, I stopped the tractor because the only thing I could say was on the mud guards I put down flying saucer. so I'm gone, the tractor's there and I'm gone. If they could see that it was full of dust, the mud guard's full of dust, flying saucer. And that's it. It was just like a dream. Why it happened to me, I don't know.
Another question.
Albert, Gary's my name. I've got an interesting question to ask, and I'll just relate what happened. Someone from Tully contacted me a couple of years ago that knows George and Albert, and he had been speaking to George, and he told me, and I've got it written down, that when George first saw the flying saucer, the UFO, he was driving the tractor and smoking a pipe. And he always carried this pipe with him. And he saw the UFO hovering or rise out of the swamp. And he began to turn off the vehicle. He put it into neutral, I think he said, or attempting to. And the next thing he knew, he was standing beside the tractor and the vehicle wasn't operating. And so then he climbed onto the tractor and then he noticed that his pipe was missing and he never found his pipe again. Now this was a contact, I've got his name, but I won't mention it because I couldn't tell if he's making it up or it's real, but that's an interesting aspect.
That is fascinating. See what Dad says about that.
George never mentioned that there's anything about that. No.
The fact that he was on the tractor.
He was on the tractor.
When he first saw it.
Now, the first thing that he heard was a big hissing noise on the very simply. He thought his big tyre was gone. They were really bawdy, they were. And that's when he looked up to the side and still had enough.
The suggestion here was that when he first saw it, he was on the tractor, but then when it came out, he was actually off the tractor and he couldn't find his pipe.
Didn't say much to me about that.
You thought he would. Did he smoke a pipe?
Yeah, that's
It looks like we're really swamping around in that one. It doesn't really gel together. But does anyone else have any more questions? I didn't guess you last night. Well, ladies.
Just as the regular ones, if I could. I was wondering if there was any relation, or what the relationship was of the small nest or markings to the big one. Also, was there any scientific test done on the soil then or later on? And I noticed in one of the things, thank you, yes, that there was one caption or one story that was headed footsteps among the banana trees. I was just wondering if that was the markings or was it something else?
That's a hard question, mate. That's supposed to. Yeah, well, Bruce said, well, why don't we take a photograph or something? But you just imagine, say, a couple of hundred people stamping all around there, but there was a fellow named Ronnie Flipper, and I was kept in touch with him, and he was very interested in the UFOs too. And he was the one that was picking up the markings. Now, we know our animals there like wallabies, pigs, cattle, cassowaries, whales and feet. But this was something different. You could just see the outline because there's a lot of people that stamped around there. It looked like something like that, but the heel looked like it went down into the, because any other animals going to have the pigs be like that, you can tell the difference in the animal feet. But that was it when I can't talk about it, I just don't know because the outline wasn't there. No, I'm worried about it now. No, that was too soon. The only question was maybe was on the reeds and the water. This is past where the machine landed. And landing was the box. He wasn't sure what caused it. He couldn't say. He wanted more information, but how far?
All the landings over the period of 1966, the main big one was, if you imagine a horseshoe lagoon, imagine a horseshoe. The main big one was dead centre of the actual horseshoe. The smaller ones were sprinklings on either side, but they were random. There was no geometric, no set pattern. And I think, from memory now, I was 9 years old at this stage, but I think two of the smaller ones may have clipped over each other. Okay.
Could be the same machine, we don't know.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll have you go. One more question.
Albert, two quick questions. Do you still live in the same property? And two, was there any sightings in 2005, which would be 3 years?
I've still got the same property, but I'm living in town. I've got one of my sons living on the property, and he's a follower-up. When I'm gone, he checks now, day after day.
He was saying that there was no markings in 2005.
Because it's now 3 years since, we're just wondering whether or not you had another visitation, or are you expecting one?
I probably should have my younger brother here who is living on the farm at present. I think that I was trying to get some more photos of the Bush Lagoon as it stands today. Now, I said there was 10,000 acres of swamp and rainforest around our property back in '66. Today, all that has been cleared and opened up for sugarcane production. So we've left our little Horseshoe Lagoon and rainforest as it stands. But by nature of the drains and opening up, things have changed vastly. So we do still go down to, my younger brother Shane still does go down in January to March to do daily inspection when the floods are not on. When the floods are on, but if it's a major flood, it's about 12 foot of water over the whole area down there. So I wouldn't expect Shane to go down crocodile infested waters at that stage. Maybe he's being a bit lazy by not going there.
Now, if anyone has a question, it makes it easier for me to do a face-to-face.
We've got one more. Yeah, well, actually, do the questions during the lunch break, because it's easier for Albert to hear the question directly. But I'd like to thank Adrian and Shane.
It's hard for me to make out words.
I'd like to thank Adrian and Shane, because it's been quite an effort to get Albert down here for this conference. We have actually done a report. UFO Research Queensland has done a report. We are looking to see if we've got copies of it with us here, and they will be for sale in the library room. Okay, would you please thank Albert Pennisi.